Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rumors of Heresy. My name is Zareth, and I've got another battle report for you. We've got Salamanders versus Chaos Demons, which are totally different in 10th edition than they were in 6th. Well, not totally. But we're facing a guy named Nathan, and I got a couple nice things. I have a familiar primary mission and Dawn of War, which is, again, something I've played already. Even in my third game back, we're doing something familiar on both, which is a welcome reinforcement of my understanding of the rules. Now, the objectives are as followed. They're little yellow circles, and they look so good, don't they? I just love the way they look. Woo! You can see, I took my first picture after I had already moved up just a little bit with some of my squads. I apologize for that, but sometimes you don't get in the habit of taking pictures until you're in the habit of taking pictures, if you know what I mean. My opponent deployed a Bloodthirster, Great Unclean One, a couple units of 10 Plague Bearers, Lord of Change behind that crazy blocking thing on the right hand side, and a Soul Grinder that kind of blends in because it's not painted yet. No shade on my opponent, of course. So, I mean, I've got a ton of proxies. In reserve, he put Rodagus, which is apparently a named Great Unclean One, 2 Beasts of Nurgle, 6 total Blood Crushers within 2 different units, and a squad of Pink Horrors, which do some really crazy color-shifting things with themselves. I'd placed a Repulsor with 10 Infernus dudes and a Captain, Jump Intercessors with a Jump Chaplain, some Intercessors that are going to just sit on an objective most of the time, a Repulsor Executioner with 6 Eradicators, Vanguard Vets with the Hand Flamers, and a Captain. If you want to see my list, folks, you can find it in the video description, and that'll hopefully explain a few things. And then I have a Land Raider Redeemer with 6 Blade Guard Veterans and Adrax himself. Now, this is the picture from his perspective. You can see those Plague Bearers. They're yellow. All of the Nurgle guys are yellow. They apparently have some kind of jaundice plague or something like that, which is fine. And I keep being faked out in these pictures. I keep thinking that blue crate is like a vehicle, but it's actually just a crate. I'm getting a little too creative with that, to be honest. So, for my first turn secondaries, I got no prisoners, which is, you have to destroy enemy units from a long distance. It has decent victory points, and then overwhelming force. You also have to take over an objective that my opponent is started by controlling. I don't know, should that be one that I can even roll? Because it seems almost impossible to achieve. But anyways, here's what my thoughts are for the first turn. So, apparently going first is just not a choice sometimes. You just get assigned first turn. You roll the dice, and the vagaries of fate allow you to play out what their directions are. And so I got first turn. This is the first time I've experienced that, being a newer player to 10th edition that I am. And so I'm moving forward. I want to threaten those objectives. Those Assault Intercessors are going to threaten both objectives. On the left-hand side, it seems like his Soul Grinder and Blood Crusher are kind of going to threaten that left side objective a little too much, but he didn't put much on the right-hand side. So the goal is to control that center objective and the right-hand side one, and then of course my own as well, while protecting against Deep Strike, which I faced demons back in 6th edition, but they only used to deploy via Deep Strike, so the fact that they have some on the board is a little strange. This is a kind of a mixed army. I don't know if there's like one set specific mini faction within there with the worships the chaos gods that's better, but I feel like this is gonna be a good survey for what's to come. And so anyways, the one thing that I noted from what my opponent was telling me, which was if they control 2 objectives in the center, then they have better deployment from deep strike. And I wasn't sure exactly how that all worked, but I really wanted to make sure to kind of cut back on him being able to deploy easier in the middle, because he mentioned it. So let's see how it all happens. We want to threaten the 2 right objectives, and the left one kind of give a token threaten, like kind of just glance at it menacingly. And that's all we need to do, folks. Let's see how it goes. Basically exactly like I said, we moved everything up. The assault intercessors and the vanguard veterans are both line of sight blocking, behind line of sight blocking terrain. The repulsor with Infernus and the captain, I decided I didn't want to take the chance that they could get a charge off on them if I sat on the objective, so they just hunkered down as well, the cowards that they are. Now, I did shoot a bunch of shots. I was within 24 inches of his great unclean one, and my executioner spent about 20 or 30 minutes, no, I'm kidding, but seriously, it's got a ton of weapons, shooting at the stupid great unclean one, which passed every single save, even though we had Oath of Moment, so we had accurate shots, and very frustrating moment there, but that's how it goes. I got crazy unlucky, but things happen, folks. And I did move up with that Land Raider Redeemer to threaten the Lord of Change, and let's see what he ends up doing. So he rolls up with secondaries, and he's got no prisoners and marked for death. So I chose a bunch of unlikely things for him to try to kill with mark of death. No prisoners, he'd have to kill my models to be able to do that. So we both got kill models for our first objectives. I guess I got take objectives, which also didn't really work out. So he moves up 10 plague bearers into the center. I think he advanced them as well and got a good advance roll. So they're awesome little sprinters, and they're all tough 5, I think, because of the Great Unclean One, or maybe they're just tough 5 because they're fancy. Great Unclean One also gives them some kind of feel no pain. He also advances a little bit, or moves up, not actually advances. And my opponent did a strange thing. He kept his Lord of Change, or at least it was unexpected to me, kept his Lord of Change hunkered behind his little box there. Bloodthirster went to toe the line of that objective on the left, and the Soul Grinder kind of moved up to have a view of what would eventually transpire. So he didn't kill anything of mine. I didn't kill anything of his. We can kind of move into the next turn. I should also note that I got rid of one of my secondaries, whichever one you don't see here now. I kept the no prisoners one because it's killing things, and I got secure no man's land, which is okay if I can control objectives in no man's land, which seems possibly achievable. Alright, he's starting to put some pressure in the middle, just like he has to, and those plague bears are going to be tough to kill. They have 2 wounds each, toughness 5 with feel no pain, and a 5-up invuln, or something like that. They're a tough unit to shift. That Great Unclean One is backing them up, and he has, 22 wounds, something like that, at toughness 27. It's just insane. And I didn't wound him at all last turn, so hopefully we can make that change a little bit. We have Eradicators, we have Infernus, we have all of our jump infantry. We have to take that center objective, because not only is that center objective something that we're both going to be vying for a lot, I have to disrupt his ability to deep strike, and I have a secondary that makes me want to claim 2 objectives in no man's land, and that's one of the only ones that are available. I'm going to keep the Vanguard in the back to control the objective and threaten other objectives, while the Land Raider, I decided to do something that it would charitably be considered ballsy. I'm just going to move it up as far as I can, disembark the Blade Guard, and go to work on that Lord of Change. I have no idea if the Lord of Change is actually something I want to mess with, but I decided, why shouldn't we learn the hard way if it's not something we want to mess with? And so that's the idea, folks. Clear that middle objective and mess with the Lord of Change. Poke the bear. We'll see if the Lord of Change can change us into a bear or a newt. So I went in and shot a lot of things and rolled some pretty poor dice, but still killed all 20 wounds of those plague bearers. I also managed to take off a bunch of wounds from the Great Unclean One. He went down to 6 wounds, which he would later heal another 3 of them on his next turn. So basically at 9 hit points. I was also able to charge in to those to those plague bearers, but I also somehow apparently got into combat with the Great Unclean One. I wasn't sure exactly how that worked, so I need to look at the rules and see, but I did end the fighting in combat with the Great Unclean One, whether I wanted to or not. So not too bad on that side. On the weird right side with the Lord of Change who was hiding behind a box, we got the Blade Guard in, and 2 of them died to various Tzeentchian idiocy things. Idiocy things is probably not the right way to describe it, but he shot Overwatch at me. He managed to use his staff to kill one. It was a whole mess. And we got the Lord of Change down after we shot all of the things on the Land Raider, all of the Blade Guard, and the combat and everything. I think I forgot at least one of their reroll things, but that's how it goes when you don't remember your rules perfectly. And I managed to take the Lord of Change down to 3 wounds. He would later heal to 4 wounds, which was very important for the subsequent combat. However, things were looking okay. I didn't delete him the way I was kind of hoping for, but that was kind of just a selfish hope that we could make it happen, not a realistic thing. I think I should be grateful to have taken down the Lord of Change as far as I did. We managed to kill 1 unit. We killed the Plague Bearers. So we got no prisoners, 2 out of 5, and we secured No Man's Land because I held 2 different objectives, which were the ones that the Vanguard veterans were sitting on the right-hand side, and the middle, which had a complete lack of Plague Bearers in it. So we managed to score that fully, 5 out of 5, which brought us up to 15. Now, I will say this, folks. I messed up on the scoring at some point on the left. My score is a little bit not indicative of the final score, so I'm sorry for that. I can't go back and change it now, but you'll have to bear with me. The final score will be accurate. You'll see. In return, my opponent went and got Sabotage and Marked for Death. They kept Marked for Death, apparently, even though all those units in the back were kind of not available for them to kill yet. He also managed to score 3 for holding his home objective, 5 for holding another objective, and we both got +1 for raised banners at some point. I forgot to mark it until now, but we both did it on our home objectives. He deep struck in with Blood Crushers, and my Land Raider Redeemer with his Redeemer Cannon managed to kill 2 of them. Now, it's a tough thing. They're tough 7, though I am strength 7 on those Flamestorm cannons, and I got some decent rolls. He actually got some good rolls as well, but not enough to save all of his Blood Crushers. We killed a couple, which is a pretty big deal. Now, he did also, in his turn, Pink Horrors landed, and they charged the Land Raider. The Blood Crushers also charged the Land Raider. And the Lord of Change, who had a shooting phase this time, shot and killed all of the Blade Guard, or maybe there were a couple left, but then he smote them with his Staff of Smiting. Adrax took 3 wounds off of him, which, because he healed 1, he was down to 1 wound remaining, but Adrax was in some serious peril. In the middle there, we fought the Great Unclean One. He decided to he put one of the Beasts of Nurgle Deep Strike onto the objective to start sabotaging and holding the objective on the left so that he could get the Soul Grinder and Bloodthirster in eventually. The Great Unclean One was able to kill a few of the Assault Intercessors, and that was basically it. It was actually a decent couple turns for the Salamanders. My opponent didn't get anything for Marked for Death, and he got 3 out of 6 for Sabotage because of that hidden Beast of Nurgle that you'll never see. So we got 3 on secondaries, 8 on primaries, which leaves the game fairly close. During my turn 3, I rolled behind enemy lines, which means I need characters behind enemy lines. And I rolled Sabotage. I actually initially rolled Cleanse and Sabotage. I don't have the characters to really do that. So I got rid of Cleanse and rolled behind enemy lines. And I did manage to score this time a big 13 on the primary because I held 2 objectives and the one from home. Okay, so not too bad. We got the Plague Bearers down. The Great Unclean One is a little bit close to dying as well. The question is, how greedy can we get? Because he's got that Bloodthirster right behind him, and I've got a lot of shooting, including those silly Eradicators who just do a lot of damage to everything. They're not very kind. And the Executioner, who's hopefully going to do a little bit of damage this time as well. And if we can get our combats the right way, if we can make it so that Adrax gets to fight the Lord of Change and hit him first, then hopefully we can kill 3 greater demons in one turn. That's kind of the hope. And then there's the pink horrors, who are actually really nicely placed for me to be able to use those Blade Guard veterans to charge in. And I guess that unit is really tough to take out long term because they have so many hit points loaded into them, but hopefully we can do something there. But they're also right next to the objective, so hopefully we can get the points for that objective even while we destroy the horrors of Tzeentch. So we start up, and I immediately have an issue where I don't know how we do Sabotage, and I don't have the units to spare to do it. So I put Sticky on that objective in the back, and move my Interceptors up to Sabotage a Ruin in the middle, which I felt a little uncomfortable about, but I decided I wanted to try it. The Eradicators decided that they would hold their fire until all my other shooting at the Great Unclean One happened. And I did manage to wipe out the Great Unclean One with the Executioner, and maybe the Repulsor. I don't remember what exactly happened. The Infernus just got into the Repulsor for some reason, and the Eradicators then let loose on the Bloodthirster and killed it. I think maybe there was a few other shots, and at the end, maybe the Jump Intercessors managed to charge in because they'd been freed from the Great Unclean One. They managed to charge in and kill that Bloodthirster as well. So that guy died, Great Unclean One died, and my opponent had chosen, or I chose to have Adrax go first against the Lord of Change, and I killed him. Instead of Adrax dying, he managed to kill the Lord of Change, so we got some good kills. I didn't take a close-up picture, but the Vanguard veterans flew in, killed 9 pink horrors, and they all just turned into blue horrors and had about the same number of blue horrors. I'm sorry, you can see a little bit of blue through the ruin windows, but that's about it that you're going to see it. Land Raider Redeemer decided to shoot everything into that lone Blood Crusher because I didn't know how much firepower it would take, and I wanted to kill that thing as dead as possible, and I did. I managed to kill it dead, which was wonderful, and we got a lot of kills, so that was wonderful. In scoring, we didn't have any killing things objectives, unfortunately, but we did get behind enemy lines because Adrax managed to be back there. Sabotage, I did sabotage those ruins, and that meant that we got 6 more on secondaries. Our primary had scored 13, and we're up in victory points pretty nicely. My opponent rolled, he kept Marked for Death. I think this is the last time. I think he decided to just ditch that one because that one has not really worked out for him so far. And then he has Secure No Man's Land, which is a decent one for him because he's got all his Deep Strikers. Now, he finally deployed everything, which I feel like maybe Radagast should have been deployed a little bit earlier. I think me taking that middle objective kind of messed with him just a little bit because he wasn't able to deploy the way he wanted to, like really in close proximity to be able to charge for sure. So instead, he got in another unit of Blood Crushers. They deep struck in the middle there. My opponent said he was not counting on my army killing the Bloodthirster as well, which I guess makes sense. Though, I mean, that Great Unclean One really was going to die without hopefully too much work from my end. So this is going to be our final turn, as it turned out, because I'm still a new player and I'm trying to learn how to play. He's still new to this army, and so he did deep strike a Beast of Nurgle on my own objective, which is going to give me a huge headache later down the line, of course, because all I had was sticky on it. So he's going to get rid of that sticky and start claiming my own home objective, which is really painful for a linchpin. Huge blunder on my side, but then he has Beast of Nurgle on the left-hand side. Those are perfect models. I don't know how much it costs, but man, they're so good for just holding objectives and just sitting there on them. They're really, really nice. I love their mechanics. Really cool unit. We also decided not to bother rolling the pink and blue horrors fight, because even though I could probably win, it didn't really matter for the greater scheme of things. I'd probably win and keep that objective claimed for a while at the least. So we ended up with a match where he got 8 for his primary, and he secured No Man's Land 5 out of 5, no issues. So he went up to 25 victory points. Now, the thing is, I didn't record everything as perfectly as possible. So we'll look at the final conclusion in just a moment. But look at what is in the middle of the board, guys. My Assault Intercessors got destroyed. My Chaplain got destroyed. Repulsor also got destroyed, and we didn't roll to see how many of my Infernus Marines would get destroyed, because I had towed in on the objective. I was holding it with the right number of characters so that he wouldn't be able to take that from me, at least. So it would have been a pretty epic conclusion. I wish we had been able to. You can see the Eradicators, who are just being proxied by 2 Terminators, which are the Melt-A-Gun guys, and the Chimerae. It would have been really epic. So I suppose we did get the win, and I'm sorry for not calculating the secondaries perfectly. During the match itself, on the little sidebar, I did take notes this time, so I'm pretty sure this was accurate, but we got the win. Who knows if we would have been able to continue the win. That middle zone was really getting pretty scary, and my Assault Intercessors had been demolished. I do think I had a decent chance, at least, of torching that Soul Grinder with the Eradicators and the Executioner. I had the Infernus Marines that could hopefully be able to shoot and kill most of those Blood Crushers. So who really knows? He also had that Rotigus creature coming up that I would have to deal with in turn 4. I did have the stuff on the right hand side mostly taken care of. He had the Beast of Nurgle, though, who was holding my rear objective, which was not a good situation to be in, to say the least. So we'd have to figure out one thing or another on that count. So huge shout out to my opponent, Nathan. Really great guy. Really fun game. What did we learn? Crazy the Chaos Demons can deploy like other armies now. Yay! I struggled to score in secondaries. Again, folks, this is a consistent thread for me at this point. It's a struggle, and I need to change my list. So I'm going to add more Jump Intercessors. You'll see how many more in the next report, but we're definitely adding more, and it's going to be complete mayhem. It's going to feel like Blood Angels, except it's Salamanders, apparently. And these big guys died just like everything else. Kind of cool, I guess. Everyone's taking really big guys, except I can't do it. I can't do it. Maybe this isn't a representation of how all the armies work, but it seems like everyone wants to take monsters or huge vehicles that punch you right in the face, and we've got to deal with that. I guess one thing I should point out here, folks, that I didn't include on this list is I need some way to score the rear objective and hold it without worrying. Like, he just deep struck his Beast of Nurgle, and eventually, even if I moved back onto it with my intercessors, which I think I was in range of, and I'd have the objective control points to control it past what the Beast of Nurgle had. We would never be able to kill that thing, and he would be able to eventually kill us, like in time. So we needed some way to be able to hold the stupid objective, and we need ways to interact with those secondary missions, because all of those points are something I need to be paying close attention to, and I don't have enough throwaway units to do it. So jump intercessors, let's go. I did just, in terms of news, I just ordered $500 more models. I hope you noticed our Blade Guard veterans were painted this time, folks. Really exciting stuff. And I'll have more models painted, hopefully, maybe not the next report, but the one after that, and subsequently, we're working on getting all the models ready for the October Open, so hopefully they get done soon, not to put any pressure on the guy painting, but this is exciting times, folks. We're getting ready. And then just a reminder, folks, I'm a competitive player. I tend to want to play in big events, and so this is a ramp up to the October Open. I don't think I'm going to play in any other tournaments except possibly, if I have enough models, maybe I'll go to the Rogue Trader tournament that's going to happen earlier that October, held by the same people, just to prep for this big event. There should be 105 people, 106 people who attend this October Open, and I don't know what to expect, but I'm excited for that. And then, of course, I'll be playing locally the big events. So we'll have the January Open, it's in Denver, the Rocky Mountain Open, which was last time in March, and who knows, I want to go to all these other ones, guys, but I don't know exactly which ones we're going to be able to make. So I would love to hear from you, hear your feedback and everything in the comments, folks. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, comment. Guys, let's get this channel going, shall we? I'm excited for it. I'll start advertising for this channel a little bit more once we start hitting bigger tournaments and trying to really grow it. But until then, I hope you're enjoying the boost in the production value. It's been a real challenge to develop all of this stuff from scratch, but we're getting there, and I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember that if you didn't hear it from me, it's probably heresy. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next time.